Welcome to Watches with Dennis, and today I am reviewing the Jaeger LeCoultre or JLC Reverso Classic Large Small Seconds, reference number Q3858522. This watch is from my personal collection. It was purchased used, and I've owned it for approximately 3 months at this point. Introduced in 2018, this watch is 27.4 millimeters wide. It's 45.6 millimeters lug to lug, and it is 8.8 millimeters thick. The lug width is a standard 20 millimeters. This watch only features 30 meters of water resistance. Now, looking at the face of this watch, one can see a simple 3-hand-only timepiece with a small seconds towards the 6 o'clock position. The hands themselves are blued. It's difficult to tell in the camera, I think, with the lighting. And they are baton style. The center of the dial and the center of the small seconds area features a guilloche pattern. The outer edges of the dial, where you see the Arabic numerals, are vertically brushed in a silver gray color. The Arabic numerals themselves are black transferred, and overall you can see the watch has an Art Deco styling, which makes sense given that the Reverso was originally introduced in 1931. The case itself is highly polished on the top and along the sides, as you can see, other than my fingerprints. The watch does have a solid case back, and that's a little different to see. You can't just flip the watch over, so hence the Reverso. It flips. You can see it can slap into place as such. So you're seeing back into the camera here. You can see that the solid case back is by default a high polish. It does make a great spot for engraving or enamel painting and such. For those unfamiliar, this feature was developed in order to protect the watch crystal in polo matches. So the players would flip the watch over when they're getting ready to play polo, and thus this metallic portion, the metal steel case back, would be exposed rather than the crystals, which at the time were made out of glass. The case's base, which is the portion you can see here when the watch is in itself not locked into position, has an engine-turned patterns applied. So they've even done finishing here, which is a nice touch, I think. So the crown itself is not a screw down. It has 2 positions. In position 0, the watch is wound, and we'll see if you can hear it while I do so via the microphone. This is not an automatic movement, so this will eventually stop winding. It'll give you resistance, so you could overwind it, so you need to be careful. But it's very clear once it's fully wound. In position 1, when we pull this out, the time can be set. And as you can see, the seconds hand is still moving, even though we are in position 1, so this watch does not feature hacking. However, if that really does bother you, there is a way you can sort of trick it. And when we're in position 0, if you go counterclockwise, so you're not winding it, you're not actually winding the mainspring, you're actually able to, while you're turning it, to stall out the small seconds hand. So there is a way to sort of get it into a position that you want, should it matter to you. This model of Reverso comes on a Faliano medium brown leather strap. So Faliano, I should say it's Faliano designed. It's not made by Faliano. And I believe Faliano is known for producing polo boots. So some of the stitching and such is very reminiscent of the boots that Faliano makes. The strap itself is of excellent execution, in my opinion. It feels both robust and comfortable. It's quite a thick piece of leather. It has a folded up profile near the lugs, so you can see that the strap is folded and stitched upon itself on near the lug placements. And the securing feature itself simply relies on a pretty traditional steel pin buckle to get it onto the wrist. Now, this watch's movement is the caliber 822/2. As I noted earlier, it's a hand-wound movement, meaning you must turn the crown to build up the power reserve. You cannot charge it just by wearing it. The movement itself runs at 3 Hertz. It features 19 joules and 108 components. Not that you're going to notice any of those because, as I've already shown you, it's got a closed caseback. In terms of the accuracy of this watch, I used the Watch Accuracy Meter app on my cell phone to measure the watch in 5 different positions. I got an average loss of 7.6 seconds per day with a positional range of minus 20 seconds per day to plus 9 seconds per day. Here you can see the watch on my 6.75-inch wrist. This watch does not have any lume, so there will be no lume shot. So what are my overall thoughts on this watch? I'd say the 3 biggest positives are the excellent finishing, it's quite comfortable to wear, and it offers something unique versus typical watches given the rectangular shape and the reversing case itself. And I'd say the 3 most notable negatives are this is not a strap monster sort of watch. I think you're pretty much stuck with leather or possibly a bracelet. There's limited water resistance and it's poor accuracy for the price point. JLC sells this watch on their website for $6,750. I really like the Reverso case design, and while historically a sort of sports watch, it really falls into the dress watch category for the modern era. I think the watch wears quite comfortably with its default strap, but it does have a 20mm lug width, so that means you can easily find all sorts of straps that will fit on it. That being said, I think most straps, aside from leather straps, are not really going to visually work very well with the watch, with, I'd say, a possible exception of a steel bracelet. I imagine you can do all sorts of different leather straps quite easily, however, so I should note I'm not someone who really swaps straps around much as long as I've found one that's comfortable to wear, and given the default one is, it's not something I've explored with this model. In terms of a couple of the negatives I touched on, the 30 meters of water resistance is quite reasonable for a dress watch, but I can't help but wish it was 50 meters, and the reason being that while I don't have any concerns wearing this watch in a normal day-to-day life and washing my hands and such, I do consider whether or not I'm expected to see a lot of rain before I put it on, in the sense that if I think I'm walking around a lot for work and I'm going to get caught outside in heavy rain, I won't wear this watch. It's probably fine, but I'd rather get to that shower-proof rating of 50 meters, and since I don't have that, I have plenty of other watches that have superior water resistance that I will wear when the weather is not ideal. For me, the biggest complaint I have is actually the accuracy complaint. An average loss of under 8 seconds a day is pretty accurate, so I don't want to overstress things. But at this price point, I typically see COSC certification levels of accuracy, and that's just not here. I know that many Reversos do not feature a seconds hand, but given we have a model here that does, I think potential buyers might see that it has a seconds hand, see the price, and think that it will be regulated to the COSC standard, even if it's not COSC certified. I should note, JLC does not claim to go for COSC standards or certification with this watch. That's not what they're selling this watch as, and so you just need to temper your expectations accordingly. Thanks for watching this review video. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like as it helps the channel out. Subscribe if you'd like to automatically be notified when I release new videos. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.